Hello, my name is Trish and you're very welcome to the channel. In 2020 I threw out my entire wardrobe of clothes. I don't recommend anyone does this, but what it meant was I had to build up my wardrobe again from scratch, and I learned a lot along the way. Now, I do believe that there are some things worth paying more for, but I also believe that great style does not have to cost an arm and a leg. So in this video, I'm going to show you some easy and budget-friendly ways to look expensive without breaking the bank. Let's get into it. Now, the first thing I recommend is a structured handbag in a neutral colour. Now, the reason I say structured, first of all, is because a structured handbag, particularly a top handle handbag, does look a little bit more expensive and like there was more workmanship and more material put into it than a more slouchy, unstructured bag. A structured handbag also has a lot of longevity in terms of its design. So, for example, I think immediately of the Hermes Kelly bag, which is completely iconic. The reason I say pick a bag in a neutral shade, meaning something maybe in black or tan, grey or beige, is because those colours are more likely to go with everything you already have in your existing wardrobe. Now, when it comes to budget-friendly ways to add these to your closet, there are a couple of recommendations I'd make. So Teddy Blake, for example, do great top handle bags that really resemble the Hermes Kelly bag. So I'm thinking in particular of their Ava style and their Kim style. They're beautiful handbags in their own right, and they give beautiful structure and polish to any outfit. From the high street point of things, I found this amazing Marks & Spencer bag only yesterday. Now, this is an incredible dupe for the Celine Classic box bag, and they do it in a number of different colours. This bag retails for €50, and while it is faux leather, the construction is very, very good. The strap is a little bit thin, that's my only complaint with it, but otherwise for €50 it is an absolute bargain. In terms of designer brands, Longchamp and Furla do amazing high quality bags at a much lower price than other designers. So for example, I saw a Longchamp top handle bag this weekend that was retailing for €135, and I really think that is excellent value for a very high quality bag. My own DKNY bag is a closet staple I've had for many years. It's in real leather, quilted leather, which gives it a beautiful texture, and it was €80 from TK Maxx. So there's really good value to be had on the high street if you know where to look. The next tip is to wear a red or brightly coloured lipstick. Now, this may sound a little bit odd as a how to look expensive tip, but what I've found is that when you look really well groomed, then that can really add to and complete your look. So adding a lipstick in a brightly coloured shade really finishes off the whole outfit. It gives it a pop of colour, and it just ends up creating a really elegant and classy vibe, which naturally makes you look more expensive. Now, I favour a red lip. I have my Dior red lipstick on that I wear all the time. And top tip, I use a red lip liner with this as well, because I find that by lining the lips first and even filling in your lips a little bit with the lip liner, it makes the lipstick last so much longer, even if you're eating or drinking in between. The next tip is around hairstyling, and again, it goes hand in hand with grooming. I find that if you're well groomed, it'll add to your look and it'll make everything you wear just seem more upmarket and more expensive. And I find that when I take the time to curl my hair and make sure that it's in some way presentable, now my hair isn't always the easiest to work with. It is very fine and wispy, so it can be a little bit difficult, but I find that when I make the effort to work with my hair, then my whole outfit looks better for it. So my go-to tool is the Dyson Airwrap. Now, these are pricier, there's no doubt about it. The reason I decided to splurge on it was because my hair is a little bit difficult and it's quite fine, as I said, and it breaks easily. So the Dyson uses cold air to set curls, and that means that there's a lot less damage to my hair. So that's why I use it. But curling your hair does not have to break the bank. A curling tongs will work just as well. As long as you use some heat protector spray, it'll be absolutely fine. So I always make the effort to do my hair, and I find it really adds to my outfit and just makes me look more presentable and therefore more expensive overall. The next tip is quite an easy one to create, especially if, like me, you have a limited wardrobe colour palette, and that is to practice monochrome or tonal dressing. There is something so elegant and chic about monochrome or tonal dressing. It just makes an outfit look very cohesive, everything goes together, and it makes the whole outfit look very considered and well thought out, and like some effort and perhaps money went into it. So I'm putting up a couple of my favourite outfits from Pinterest here, and monochrome and tonal dressing is something I practice often myself. Now, as I mentioned, I do have a limited colour palette in my wardrobe. It's black, white and blue, so I do find it really easy to mix and match my pieces in a tonal way. And for any of you looking to revamp your closet or to improve or upgrade your closet, then limiting the colour palette is a really useful tip, and one that I found really helped me when I was building my wardrobe back up from scratch as well. And creating those monochrome or tonal looks will make you look very intentional and really gives a very classy and elegant vibe to any outfit, in my opinion. The next tip is something I'm demonstrating right now, and it is tailoring. A tailored or structured piece will always look more expensive than an unstructured piece. It goes back to the bag tip at the start of the video. There is something about structured items that just automatically look more expensive, even if you got them on a budget. So a blazer is my favourite go-to way of implementing this particular piece of advice. A blazer will elevate the most simple outfit. If you're wearing a t-shirt and jeans, a blazer will take that outfit up a notch. There are some really good budget-friendly ones on the market. H&M do wonderful blazers, not just every year, but every season. And I've seen some wonderful examples in Zara as well, and they're always very reasonably priced. So tailoring, and particularly blazers, is somewhere that it's really wise to spend a little bit of money if you're looking to upgrade your entire look. If you're enjoying this video so far, remember to give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. I post new videos every week. My next tip is around budget cashmere. Now, look, when it comes to cashmere, there are different qualities. There's no doubt about that. And if you go for, high street or budget cashmere, you're not going to get as thick or as long of a yarn as you are if you go more expensive or upmarket. However, I have found that budget cashmere or high street cashmere is still very good value for money. I have 2 high street cashmere pieces in my closet. I paid less than €100 for each of them. In one case, I actually spent less than €50 for one of them. It was on sale, and they're very soft and very luxurious, even though they weren't the most expensive pieces. So that is why I recommend budget cashmere. Just look after it, repair it if it gets snagged, wash it on a delicate cycle, and just take care of it, and in my experience they last. I've had mine now for 2 years and they are just as good as the day I got them. So budget cashmere is a really wallet friendly way of adding some luxury and beauty and style to your closet that doesn't break the bank. My next tip isn't for everyone, and that is to buy one expensive item. Sometimes just one expensive item elevates an entire look, or even in some cases an entire wardrobe full of clothes. I'm thinking in particular of designer belts. So for example, I love this one by Yves Saint Laurent, and there's another example by Celine, their Celine Triomphe belt, that I think elevates anything that it's put with. Now, these belts are expensive, okay, so like I said, this tip isn't for everybody, but if you're in a position where you can splurge on only one thing, this is the type of thing I'd recommend, because it will elevate absolutely everything else that's in your wardrobe. The next tip is to utilize designer costume jewelry. Now, full disclosure, it doesn't suit my own personal style. This is not something I would incorporate into my own wardrobe, but I have seen other people do it, and I think the effect is sometimes very beautiful. So I'm thinking in particular of brooches, for example. I've seen people invest in the Chanel brooch, and they put it on the lapel of their blazer or their sweater or their scarf, and it creates a really upmarket designer look for a very budget friendly price. So it is something to keep in mind if you're looking to elevate your wardrobe. Again, Not something that I would do, but that's just personal preference, where I am a minimalist dresser, so I'm not really much of a brand or logo type of person. But this is something that I have seen other people leverage to really beautiful effect in their own wardrobes. So, one to keep in mind. My next tip is to go mid-range. Now, we all know that designer brands have huge markups, but if you go mid-range, and by mid-range I'm talking about a couple of €100 per piece, which I realise is out of many people's price range, including mine sometimes depending on the month, but if you are in a position to invest in 1 or 2 mid-range pieces, then that can be a way of incorporating very high quality into your closet without that ridiculous designer markup. So for example, my favourite brand that I think does luxury really well at a very affordable price is The Curated, and I'm wearing one of their pieces today. It's their classic relaxed blazer in the colour stone. I've spoken about this blazer many times on my channel before, and the quality is absolutely excellent. It is a wool blazer and it's lined in 100% mulberry silk. The finishing is beautiful, the cut is absolutely fantastic. It's a very comfortable, luxurious blazer, and it cost €300, which is only slightly above what you pay on the high street sometimes for blazers. So The Curated is a brand that does luxury at very affordable prices, in my opinion, and they're not the only ones. So looking at mid-range brands can be a very good and more cost-effective way of elevating your wardrobe and looking expensive than it is to go for any designer pieces. My last tip is to get dupes of designer items. Now, check out my video next week on this topic, where I'll be showing you some amazing dupes for things like the Totem scarf coat, the Golden Goose sneaker, and a few other items. So subscribe so you don't miss that video. But for now, all I'll say is that dupes can be very easy to find on the high street, and they do copy the original design, so you can really get the look for less. Sometimes that design is a very clever one. So I'm thinking here, for example, of the Rose Slouchy Banana bag, which is a beautiful, practical crossbody bag, and COS have done a very successful dupe of that bag. Again, the design is absolutely wonderful, but it's at a fraction of the price, under €100, which is an absolute steal. So going for dupes of designer items can be a really intelligent and clever way to get the look for less and upgrade your style and just make everything you wear with it look that little bit more expensive. That's it for this week. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Subscribe for next week's video on designer dupes, and I'll see you next time. Bye!